Oh, that looks terrible. Absolutely fucking terrible. And the contrast is right up. I think it's the colour saturation that it doesn't like. Yeah, I don't really know what's going on with the stripes lately. I can't afford a new camera. I haven't made enough out of YouTube to afford one of them. Still takes great pictures of my cats. Right, where's my bloody reading glasses? Did I even bring them? You're on your head, mad cut. Oh yes, so they are. So they are, sir. No, that is really bad. I don't know why. It's impossible to set this camera up. Alright, Lannykins. Okay, I hope you don't want to go outside. It's not your usual pee-pee poo-poo time. Okay, the only new one I can see there is Super Stock Car, which I had to fucking download again. Do some more crap Nixie Tube program. No. Now, which one of these is actually dry? There we go. Ooh. Right, okay. I watched a video of Time Tunnel. For completeness, I may go back and check that out a bit, but there's too much condensation on the windows. I'll do that a bit later. But I found this thing, which is the original Atari Sprint. You know, the black and white game. I used to play this as a kid in the arcade. I have very distant memories of, you know, the early arcade games of the 70s. I was never interested in pinball. Already tried this on the emulator and it's fiendishly difficult because the computer cars are like ridiculously good. Yeah, it is 2015. So Super Sprint with semi-automatic gearbox, because there's no clutch. Obviously there wasn't even a clutch pedal on turbo for the ColecoVision. You change gears using one of the joysticks. I don't want oil slicks, they really fuck me up. Got enough problems seeing with the sun glaring through the old ding dong. Now magically there's no glare from the rear window. Now the problem with this game is you need to be playing it on like at least a 24 inch, preferably 26, 28 inch CRT. No jokes, thank you. Do I need to go to the shops to get an indicator bulb? Only if I'm driving the car tomorrow, which I haven't decided yet. But what you don't know is what you might do. That the sound effects on these early black and white games, they were phenomenal. They really did sound like V8 American cars of the 70s. It's really good actually. The graphics may have been shit, but the sound, they were up to Amiga standards. Some of them did use samples, some of them did not. I don't know how they did it actually. Yeah, there's obviously no point me trying to play this while I'm smoking. It's one of the reasons why I stopped smoking while I drive. But yeah, there was the mechanical horse racing game. Remember that? I don't think I ever saw them, but I have seen pictures of the shooting gallery with the light gun and the projected light images. They weren't computer generated, I'm pretty sure. They might be electromechanical in some way with a projector behind them. I'm not sure actually. What other arcade games were there? I can't remember what the company that did those games like Tail Gunner. So I played that. I used to play Tail Gunner. I did actually quite like Tail Gunner. I miss the sound of an arcade, you know, 50 cabs making loads of noise inside like a big low ceiling sort of double or triple unit in the case of Southend. My parents used to play the machines that you put the 2 pences and the 10 pences in. I think they're called penny falls or something, you know, where the metal bars push the coins to almost to the edge and come back. Cyclical motion, probably with a cam. There was some sort of weird thing, and it was like an octagon, and it had like big round plastic covers over the lights, sort of like you know, the kind of Christmas tree. Oh yeah, Christmas tree lights today, right? You buy Christmas tree lights, and they're like the ones you had in the 70s, early 80s, whatever, mid 80s, where the plastic like lantern thing has fallen off, and you've lost all of them. So it's just the bare bulbs. And people pay loads of money for some of them. Ooh, they flash so fucking what? There's no little things on them. They look shit, actually. They look like hand-me-down things that your neighbour might give if you couldn't afford your own Christmas tree lights. See, I'm the white cart, obviously. I was hoping that using a joystick might help me, but it doesn't. See, they're really good, the computer cars. It's really good conversion, actually. So you had the pedals on the base of the cabinet, 3 steering wheels. This is a steering wheel game. It was a hard game anyway. It wasn't really fun. It was just fascinating. Yeah, I'm doing terribly at this game. Now I do actually know how they do the computer drivers. It's very simple actually. I remember reading an article about that. Oh no, see. I'm never going to complain about BMX Simulator ever again. I might play that in a bit. The selfish hour? Well, a bit of selfishness. It's my Commodore 64 and Trinitron. So even if you take off collision with other cars, it is a fiendishly difficult game to do because they go so fast. Ah, bloody hell. The time will never run out, so... I'm going to finish me roll up, I think. Made me coffee in the hot chocolate cup of a bit earlier actually, not yesterday technically. Oh, we're up to episode 11 of season 4 of Prison Break. So there's only about, I think, 12 more episodes this season. I can't remember how many episodes were in season 5, but it wasn't 22, that's for sure. That's the thing, when TV shows get resurrected, they're on a very tight budget. So I think season 1 of Jericho was like 20 episodes, but season 2 is like 7 or 8. It's a real... Anyway. I got no respect for the TV companies. They can all fuck off, mate. They don't do anything for you. Oh no, look what happened then. So my rating is granny, but it is a very difficult game. I think it's just called Sprint. If you do search for games that contain the word Sprint in game base, you'll see it. It's the only 2015 Sprint clone. There are other ones, but this is the one that looks most like the original. Half of the car's axles seem to be missing. They seem to be 2 dots. And yeah, anyway. So they were actually 4 wheels on the original arcade. I think that's what fascinated me, because there were so many frames for when they rotate. I was like, wow, I can't wait till my Pong console is that good, because I played this before I got a VCS. Now the king of these sort of games is Indy 500 on the Atari 2600. However, that's only really because of the driving controllers. I can't think of an Atari VCS game that doesn't execute the code at 50 frames per second. It's got no choice really. Where's the other lighter gone? Let's go with a purple lighter. I'm feeling all 70s. So Cauldron of Stardust explained very succinctly what a straw man argument, straw man defence is. I only heard that term on the Atari forums about 15 years ago, in the massive C64 versus A8, which is short for Atari 8-bit computers. Thread that was like an enormous, like 400 pages. It's like an absolutely monolithic thread. Actually, TMR of Coside, he posted in there a few times, very calmly I might add. Who was the other guy? There was another guy, another sort of demo coder. Was it Ryebag? I'm not sure, you know. I honestly can't remember. But there was the actual demo coder Oswald. He was quite nice to chat to on Lemon 64. Pleasant enough chat. But I think he got banned from Atari Age. I can understand why, because people are telling him things that are simply not true about the C64 hardware, and he knows because he's a demo coder. So he might as well just stay in 4th gear really. Actually maybe probably on the arcade I'd keep it in 2nd gear, but you see that's not fast enough to stay ahead of any of the cars. I think literally it was a timed game. I I don't know how you got the extra time, and I wouldn't be able to find out on this thing. But yeah, if you could get the Indy 500 controllers from the VCS to work on like a C64. There used to be screeching sounds as you went round the corner as well, squealing tyres. Yeah, this is about my limit, like gear 2, and I'm never going to catch him, look. You've got enough problems of staying on the road, never mind changing gear to go faster on the straights. It's a really fiendish game. But maybe, just maybe, with something like paddle controllers, preferably the Atari driving controllers, it would be quite nice. I mean, that was the nice thing about the VCS. You had paddle controllers for games that needed them, and you got them free with the system. There was the video touchpad, which made Star Raiders on the VCS awesome to play, awesome. My parents have got an identical folding like dining table to the one that I inherited and had in my room, and the VCS was on. And you could fold it down on both sides, so it was the size of a small bookshelf. That was in this house when I bought it. Actually, the lino tiles on the kitchen floor are the same as the ones we found in the house I grew up in. They're quite hideous, but my parents... So why am I playing this then? I don't know, I'm getting confused with which way to go. Really, there should be arrows drawn on it, or around the outside of the track. It's just one of these games, there's nothing wrong with the programming on this. You can't really blame the programmer. I mean, you have to go up and down the gears to be able to play the game, but there's no way to make it, you know, easy. Maybe the gears could go down automatically as you decelerate, like on an automatic gearbox on a car, because you only got one button on the VCS driving controllers anyway. It'd be quite complicated even to do it, but at least you'd be able to get around the track. So this really is a game for like paddle controllers, and but you know, he's done the best he can to make it work with a joystick. It's not really his fault, I would say. So yeah, I think we do that. So but we're playing this because I managed to work out the idiotic menu system of see, I can't even follow the track, it's quite complicated. So anyway, championship sprint it is now. Which card we got in there then? 364. Should always call it the same thing, whichever SD card you put the SD browser for the C64 on. Yeah, here we go, championship sprint. I did actually think it was a problem with the crack, but it wasn't. It wasn't trying to load anything off the disc. So like I said, I went back, checked that out, and yeah. So my problem really with all the sprint games is BMX Simulator was like less than £3. I don't know if it was £1.99 or £2.49 or whatever in the newsagents. You know, and that is better than all of them. I haven't found one that's better than BMX Simulator, the first one, not BMX Simulator 2, not Pro BMX Simulator. And I haven't found anything from any other company either that's as good as that. I think if that Rallycross had better controls, it'd come close. But I don't think the graphics are quite as good as BMX Simulator. So yeah, no, for non-scrolling, you know, overhead racing games, BMX Simulator is the most polished of the lot, really. I think this one may have 3 crack throws. So you divide the one. Oh no, good. I don't have to be rude about the crackers. So you press the fire button, and then you've got to pull the joystick down to pull down the menus. I don't think they really understood the whole concept of pull down menus. They're supposed to appear. You don't physically pull them down using the controller. Oh, I'm the blue one, am I? Ah, crap. See, I'm looking at another car completely. I don't like the way the rebound works. Kind of, when you go backwards, it's like those old remote control cars where you press the button and when they reversed like, you know, with the steering wheel turned, you know, completely left or right, depending on how they chose to do it. But it's always the same way, and that's how you'd like do turns. They were the cheap ones, I do admit, but you know, those are the kind of things I had. Now my favourite of those early car toys that I had was like Mercedes, well, 190E, 200E sort of shape. Classic Mercedes from the 70s as a police car. That was remote control, so it was a wired, you know, controller, and you had like a mini steering wheel on the controller, as well as a button to go forward. And the mini steering wheel, I think, was better than the steering on this shit. Yeah, I think it was like some very fine steel cables. Anyway, it was nice. It was like navy and white, you know, sort of vintage American cop car kind of thing. Okay. I actually want to change the track. Let's have loads of everything. You can only have one of them. Okay. You can design your own tracks as well. Skid factor. I want 0 skid factor, thank you. Hang on, let's do drone speed. Let's go with 1. Let's be generous for the little shits. Fuck, you know. So the water just slightly. So maybe I'll set them to 0 and I'll lower my own speed. See, the problem is when you crash, you sort of turn as you're reversing, which I don't like. It never works to your advantage, so I'm having trouble seeing that corner there because of the window. But we are doing better. Yeah, she's not as fun as Oh, the tornado didn't pick me up. So I think it's supposed to fling you around the screen. So there's no trainer options on any version of this game. So obviously on the emulator you can play it without any collision detection, but the way the game becomes playable is by slowing them down to make up for the rubbish controls. Yeah, you know, this is a 10 quid game at the end of the day. Yes, you can design your own tracks, but they're going to be tracks that look and sound much inferior to the built-in tracks of BMX Simulator by Codemasters, which was like, you know, 80% cheaper than this thing. Now I had Turbo GT by Air Informatic for my Atari ST, which was a Super Sprint clone. I think it was keyboard only actually. Oh no, the cats are playing up again. Must be something to do with the sound effects of this game. So, you know, this is a solid 5 out of 10. It's not a solid shit. You can compensate for some of the things that are wrong with it, but right now I'd rather be playing Indy 500 on the VCS with the Atari driving controller. That's really something everyone who grew up with the 8-bit era of you know, gaming should really try and have a go of on the real hardware so you can use those controllers. Whee. So last lap, so perfectly doable without any trainer options. Graphics of the cars are a bit too small. However, it's tricky enough getting around these tracks. Yeah, if you can have a non-scrolling like game like this, then would be nice if someone did a really good version of skid marks for the Amiga, but the handling would be the most important aspect of that. If you need to do it in crappy 4-color, you know, character-based mode to keep that sort of 50 frames per second up. I'll have turbo, thank you. It is the 80s after all. Yeah, look at that, mate. I'll turbo through the gravel, thank you. So I didn't set any options for not crashing into them, so that's a bit weird. So I've got to account for our extra speed now. So yeah, I mean, maybe when you get better at the game, you can actually, you know, up the speed of the drone cars and play it again. But once you've seen all the tracks and checked them out, you probably never play this again. It's just not impressive enough. There's no like cracking David Whittaker tune. There's no brilliant 16-color graphics or whatever. Ooh, got to be a bit careful with that. Ah! It's the Lewis Hamilton effect. I'm close to winning, so I'll fuck it up. Even though my car is massively better than theirs. There we go. I'm Lewis Hamilton. Oh no, please kill me. I'd rather be fucking David Coulthard. The only person I know who crashed and wiped out his car for the entire race coming into the pits. He went straight into the barriers like, yeah. So you would get your money's worth out of it. Now the footage looked fantastic last night. but it actually came out really shit on the camera. It was like too dark and too contrasty. Well, see, they are actually catching up to me at the moment, but little squirt of the old McLaren turbo boost, the secret McLaren turbo boost. So yeah, you'd definitely be able to play all the tracks. Ah, come on, that's shit collision detection, that is. So I think, yeah, okay, yeah, I think 5 out of 10 is a fair score for this. Super Off-Road, Ivan, Iron Man, Stewart's thingy. That's better than these, but I think, as we're going to find out, it's going to be BMX Simulator. BMX Simulator was one of the few... Oh, let's see, we have actually dropped this place already. One of the few games that I've got, you know, as a copied tape. I think Crazy Comets and Evil Dead were on that, I think. Couldn't even tell you if the person who gave them games on tape to me. I used one of them cassette doublers where you plug in 2 data sets. It was a real pirate, I guess. Because when you had a C64, you had a cassette doubler and 2 data sets. And as soon as you got an Amiga and discovered X-Copy, and the joys of, you know, Amiga pen pals in the classifieds, did we just do everything? He bought like an external disk drive because he was getting fed up, like, you know, spending ages copying the discs. That's quite a long tunnel area and you can't actually see what you're doing, so I wouldn't mind if they flickered the cars when they're supposed to be like going underneath bridges and stuff and in tunnels, just so you know that you're perfectly lined up. See, I haven't, like I said, I haven't set any cheats for damage or anything. And you can break your car, so yeah, before you go in the tunnels you have to actually straighten up, so yeah. Caveat emptor. Yeah, if you had it back there, maybe you have fond memories of it, because you probably go and look at Turbo GT now for the STM and think, that's shit. Well, maybe it is shit, but you've got to add the nostalgic factor. Don't know what that is. That's that. Say turbo. I don't know why the tornado's not picking me up and throwing me somewhere else on the track. He's supposed to do that. N. Jenkins said so, and he's usually quite good reviews. He kind of does his research most of the time, so it's not that kind of channel, mate, as I famously say. I play loads of retro games, mostly on the C64, because that's the only retro hardware that's out on the desk. Not for any other reason, really. Oh boy. See, that was a guess to see if I'm pointing the right way, because if you start hitting the walls under there and you can't see where you are, it's a bit shit. So that's my real problem with these kind of games. They should flicker the sprite as it goes through, so you can sort of like have an almost ghost effect. You know, turn it off and on every other like 50th of a second. Well, I haven't needed the thing, so let's try super traction. No, we do, yeah, super traction. Ooh. turning is faster now, so gotta be careful now, innit? Right, so when you come to these bridges, you just have to line up before you go under them. So you don't actually get things you go underneath on BMX Simulator, so I guess they didn't really solve the problem, but then it doesn't have the problem, you could argue that just as much. So there's no way they're going to catch me with a drone speed set so low. So yeah, this is like those old Atari VCS that had like some you know, kiddies game level like difficulty settings. Used to have like a little teddy bear outline clip art sort of thing image on the box to signify such things. Yeah, so you have to kind of reverse by bouncing off things. The David Coulthard way, I believe it's called. So some tracks are just, you know, they're easier to finish. Look at that, I just swung the background like when I was driving those Caterham V8 sports cars. That was a thing, that was being able to turn a car 180 degrees at the flick of your right foot. And I was a genius driver back then, in my head, and probably real life, but definitely in my head. Well, my score is not set to 0, so I guess I'm doing well. Yeah, I don't like the collision detection on the tracks. So that's why it stays at 5 out of 10, even though I'm playing it for ages. It is a little annoying to play this game. I wonder if this would work for that Grand Prix game by Codemasters, but I think the graphics are better on BMX Simulator, and does make me laugh. Maybe not out loud, so it's a bit rude when you live by yourself. So, you know, you've got to waste time lining up. But yeah, when the kids fall off the bikes, it does make me laugh. Just like when you load up Commodore in the Amstrad and the music comes on, that makes me laugh. Has to be playing out the internal speaker of a real CPC though, otherwise, yeah, that might actually be the first game I load up. I'll never forget that day. I bought Commando for my C64. My mate had the Amstrad, so he bought it at the same time as me, but my house was closer to the market than his, so we stopped off at my house. I loaded up Commando, we had a few goes of it, commented about the absolutely amazing music that was on there, because we used to play Commando in the arcade, because he'd get the top score, I'd get the second score, he'd always put Bruce Lee, and I'd put something childish like "He's gay." That's what it was like in the early to mid 80s, just, you know, different times, mate. You wouldn't get away with that now. Yeah, so then we went round his house, and I went there as well. We loaded up Commando in the Amstrad, and I couldn't stop laughing. I couldn't stop laughing as soon as that beach, beep 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 beep. It's terrible, and the built-in speaker on the CPC is such a shit idea. If you use a TV modulator on the Amstrad, the music still comes out of that shit speaker built into it. And it's not just the Amstrad that did that. The Electron, BBC Micro, obviously. I think there was other computers that did that as well. It's a really shit idea. Should never do that. Even the most average price TV, when they design where the speaker's going to go in the, you know, the cabinet, ooh, that's really buggering me up now. Stop talking about TVs and concentrate on your Formula 1 career, Mad Commodore. Exactly. Yeah, so that was a weird thing with a CPC. So my mate actually opened his up and put like a phono connector from the wires, and then connected it up like to a boombox or a really cheap hi-fi, which we might have got at a car boot sale, a really small one. Because you don't get composite video output either from the modulator, you only get RF. And people say Alan Sugar's a genius. Yeah, he's a genius at selling stuff above its punching weight. Look how badly the Amiga 1000 sold, and that was like the perfect computer. I think I'm going the wrong way now. Oh, you asshole. What am I doing? I've got a lot of catching up to do. This is like that final race of the season where Vettel got turned around on the start-finish line and had to make up shitloads of places to win the championship still. So I'm not really catching up on them. So they've got a real headwind on this track. Or is it tailwind? I've got the headwind. Oh, it was sunny when I started playing Championship Sprint. Now it's perfect C64 weather. So I've got these upgrades and I'm still not catching them. I think the yellow car is actually lapping them all. I have to keep an eye on that one. So I'm using the gravel to brake. So yes, we are catching them. Slowly but surely he drew their plans against them. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So it is a bit of a challenge if you completely fuck it up from the start. Yeah, third place me. Me! Oh, actually, did I get second place? Because I'm the blue car. Game over! Game over! Fucking game over! Poor old Bill Paxton, he died way too young. He was a funny fucker, I really liked him, actually. He's in a weird sci-fi movie. I think it's from the early 90s. I think it's called Alien. I don't know what it's called actually, but it's him. And I think there's like a really fit, blonde-haired, supposedly extraterrestrial woman who looks completely human. Low budget, innit? Oh, actually, we don't want to do that because 64. Right. What else was on this card? Well, I'll just load the file browser anyway because I need that no matter what happens. Fuck Time Tunnel. I did have an XD card somewhere. I did find it like 2-3 years ago when I last cleaned out, well, rearranged stuff on the shelves. Haven't found that yet. So as it's grey overcast skies, I think we've got to do the decent thing, and that is to play a bit of BMX Simulator, which I never paid for. You filthy pirate. Yeah, but still, I had like 120 something actual tapes, and you know, there were some compilations in there, and I only had about 8, maybe 9 copied games, so you know, hardly what you'd call a pirate there, mate. The masters of coding. Okay, they're going to be in one of these, I guess. Yeah, I did not like the other BMX Simulator games, but this one's really good. I like the music on this one the best, I like the handling the best, and the graphics are nice enough. Oh, I've got to go outside and clip the tops of them flowers. Oh fuck me, it's actually started snowing. It's fucking snowing. It literally just started snowing. Yeah, don't worry, I'm going to remember to check the camera alignment. We've done that one before. I think it was Quick Snacks. Yeah, it's way too bright, the image. It's still too bright actually. I wonder if this is a problem. But I won't be able to see the snow now, innit? The contrast is right up actually. Yeah, we won't have that much contrast. And of course it's not going to be in focus now, is it? That's kind of how I remember the colours of the C64, my crappy Grundig. We play a normal game actually, so it's not 100% selfish. I'm trying to get the grayscales to even out. You can see the grayscales. Can you see them better now? I think the images were too dark last time, so... Hey, I didn't press nothing. Right, now it's space to exit. So how do I change... Right, okay. Yeah, you have to use joystick input 1 for a one-player game. Yeah. S to start, thank you. Yeah, it is flickering a bit. You can get stuck on the scenery. I always, you know, look at the wrong rider because I'm pressing fire as soon as it starts and it moves off. I think, yes, I've got a great getaway, and it's like, oh shit, no, I'm the one that's just standing there doing nothing. Pulling his pud, as Chevy Chase would put it. Now, I did think about watching Fletch and Fletch Lives yesterday. There's a bit of a malaise watching, you know, Prison Break so much. So he is actually faster than me. Ooh. You gotta follow his lead. Ah, bloody hell, come on. The crashes are spectacular. You see, my only problem with this game is they crash into you and nothing ever happens to them. You can't sort of like crash into them, but they do kind of fuck up sometimes. So technically it's not really like Super Sprint. Let's try that properly. David Whittaker sounding good there on the 8580. You do lose a lot of inertia as soon as you like stop pressing the button. So he's gonna get me now. Yeah, if you're looking at the right bike, It's almost possible to win. Ah, Jesus Christ. It's a great game. And that's enough with the Super Sprint clones at 50 minutes. Fuck's sake.